What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Get RECkt, bro. I'm your host, Sensei, but with me today, and the excitement in me is just through the roof. Destin, how are you doing?
Oh man, well, I can't say I'm doing too great because as of the time of this recording, I just watched the New York Subliners get reverse swept. But you know, it is what it is. But I'm so happy to be here otherwise.
Hey, I'm super happy to have you, man. And about the New York Subliners, man, being from New York, it's what we expect at this point from New York teams, man. Come on. Oh, man. But again, as I said, I'm super excited for you to be here. And I'm so happy you're on the show, man. Top of my list in terms of like people I needed to absolutely have on here, especially within that first 10 episodes, because I think that makes or break a show here on YouTube. So, hey, listen, hopping right into the questions. Right in. So in terms of your experience here in the COD Rec League thus far, how would you say has it gone for you in the past, couple of months that you've been? Because you're a fairly new addition.
Well, I'm going to be completely honest. I've actually been here since MW as a player. I mean, I like to say that. I wasn't actually on a team in MW. I subbed in for one match in MW, but that's my claim to fame is I get to say I was here since Season 1. But I've been playing actually throughout Cold War. It's just really unfortunate we didn't actually meet until we casted together. And, I mean, you were such a great guy, and you really left an impression on me. So I'm glad we did end up meeting, but we actually didn't cross paths for a while there because
That's
I think
so
insane. If I recall correctly, I think like you were in bronze for a little bit, but I was in silver at the same time. And then as soon as I went to bronze, I think you moved up as well. So it was just really unfortunate timing on that. But in terms of my overall experience with the CRL as a player, like it's been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I wanted to get in ComCod. I didn't know if I was good enough, but I just kind of threw my hat in the ring. And what I realized pretty quickly is that yes, the CRL is like really about that competitiveness and wanting to get better, and that's partly what I love about it, but it's also about the people here. And the people I've met across my year and a half now that it's been has just been absolutely amazing, and like I honestly couldn't ask for a better group. So I'm super happy with the CRL and everything that it's amounted to so far.
Yeah, man, and that's always great to hear because that's what it's about at the end of the day. Yeah, we come for the competitiveness, but man, we stay for the people, and it's so crazy how we didn't cross paths for a while that I legit thought you were brand new to the CRL. That's awesome though. But hey, man, you meet someone and now you feel like I've met you my whole life. So hey, here we go, man. Into the next question. You're a caster, and you've been casting some games over a few seasons now. So I want that experience. How did you hop into casting? Was it a friend that introduced you to it and you fell in love? Because it just seems so natural, man, every time I see you on the desk.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot. Yeah, in terms of casting, I kind of got like the idea of wanting to do it around like I think like the beginning of season 5 of Cold War for the CRL. Like I kind of like I was teaming with Bobby and Brendy, and I still am, but that was my first season with them being on their team, and I got to get to know them pretty well, and they're great friends. And then I would tune in on Thursday nights, and of course they pretty much had the desk like locked down for Thursday nights, and I would see them having so much fun, and it's impossible not to see something like that and be like, damn, I wish I did that too. So I actually kind of like, while we were playing one day, like a scrim or a rank play or something, I had mentioned to Bobby and Brendy that I was like, hey, I'm thinking about casting. Like, I'm very super sensitive about my voice or about like my abilities, my speaking abilities, and I get a lot of anxiety pretty easily. So I was like, hey, I kind of have this idea that I may want to cast. Do you guys think I'd be good? And not only did they encourage me, they actually said, yeah, you know what? Let's jump on this. Like, let's not wait, because if you wait, you're just going to back down from this. So, like, literally the day after, Bobby was offered to do a test cast with me and, like, something that he would send into the CRL. And, of course, if you've ever casted with Bobby, like, he can make anybody look good. So I got the great privilege of being able to cast with him on a test cast. We were just did some old like VOD on the CRL channel, and Brendy was like acting as production, and so those two guys really like pushed me to do it after I had shown my initial like inkling of wanting to do it. So I really, really, really owe it to them. And I think at the same time, like pretty coincidentally, Tej, my third teammate, wanted to do it as well. And so I think they gave him the same treatment. And I think we both kind of got let into the league at the same time. And I think pretty naturally, just because we're on the same team and we're, pretty good friends at this point, they put us together on the Thursday night time slot. So that was like super cool getting to cast with your teammate most nights. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. I really, really owe it to Bobby and Brendy.
Man, that's a way to come in like head first. That's like being trained by Goku. Dude, honestly, that's how that must have felt, man. Because those two guys are absolute legends in what they do, and honestly, I could see it, man. You and TJ, man, you have that cam, you have that like thing about you guys. It's like, man, I just cannot stop watching every time you guys cast. But talking about your casting duo, that's a huge question here on my board. It's like just you guys together. It seems like it's natural and it's organic, and it's something hard you could find with a casting partner when it's that natural and an organic experience. Like, how has that been? You guys are basically the kings of Thursday night now.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking on that, like, it's a huge pleasure to inherit the Thursday slot from Bobby and Brendy. I think Bobby got a little bit busy, and Brendy was pretty loyal to Bobby. So I think when that happened, they had to find somebody to fill a Thursday time slot, and they kind of looked to us. And like, I think it's like symbolically like a huge privilege to inherit that spot because, as you mentioned, Bobby and Brendy were just so good at that spot, and so like it's a huge honor. But yeah, speaking on how natural it is with Tej, like, having played with him for a season beforehand, it was kind of just walking into casting was just kind of like, let's forget that we're on a cast together. Let's forget that there's somebody else in the voice channel. Let's just talk about these games as friends. And obviously, it's not that simple. Like, obviously, casting, you go through the casting motion, so it's not completely like, let's just forget about it. But it really was like, I've heard this voice for a season, in games, in league play. It was very, very easy for me to be able to just pick that up. And, like, that was such a help.
Yeah. And again, the new kings of Thursday night, man, it's a lock for me to make sure that I tune in at 9, man. Listen, I have to ask because you did go that route, to being a player and then into a caster role, and it's not always easy for all these guys that to want to do what we do as casters, because there's a lot of talent all throughout the CRL. There's a couple guys there that are nervous and scared, man. What can you say to those and give them some motivation here? Like, what would you tell those guys that really want to make that next step and get on the desk?
Well, I would tell those guys, first of all, to actually like spend time at it. I wouldn't personally just kind of send your first time. Like, luckily I had Bobby. Other people may not be so fortunate, but I would spend time kind of honing those skills on your own. It doesn't have to be a ton of time, but even something as putting on a VOD from the CRL channel and like recording yourself solo casting, which is incredibly hard to do. And if you can master a solo cast, you can for sure master a 2-person cast. Just try it out, see how you like it, pick up on things, because I think casting, at least in my experience, it looked a little bit easier than it was, and I kind of got a fresh breath of reality when I did it for the first time. But at least try it on your own. You don't have to show it to anybody, but maybe if the first one doesn't go so well, try it over time. But it is definitely something you can pick up, and trust me, I'm like, I know I have a little bit of a persona as like a bravado. I kind of like attack people jokingly in general chat of the CRL. I'm a very sarcastic person that way, but I am, at my core, I'm a very shy guy. I'm very insecure about like my voice, yada yada, as I mentioned. If I can do it, anybody else can do it, I can guarantee.
Hey, man, and anytime you can motivate the new guys to step on up, gotta absolutely love it. And honestly, what you said, I would say the same. For me, I think that a lot of people just, I was the same way, man. You hear your voice in a recording and you sound to yourself like absolute trash, right? I feel the same way, but then there's people that hit me up, man, like, yo, your voice is absolute beauty. So it's like you never know. People's taste is so different from your own. But again, man, the casting side of you is an amazing side, and people need to tune in because you are dominant. I'm going to say that duo right now, in a couple of seasons, it might rival that of Bobby and Brendy, man. It might.
That's a bridge too far. They will always be the GOATs, but we are happy to at least even be in the conversation.
Hey, and again, man, in the conversation you will be. 100%. But man, there's a bunch of sides of you. I want to talk about the player side, if we can hop into that side, because it's always good with these type of guests that come in with like different multiple aspects of what they can do. You're a caster, but you're also a player, and a very dominant one at that, man. Right now, your team doing absolutely phenomenal, man. Currently 6-0 as of time of recording. Man, talk to me about just this season, man. You guys are absolutely on fire.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, we had a rough last 2 seasons. We only got to play together in Cold War for Season 5, and it kind of felt like, we went into Season 5 knowing that we can't judge each other too hard because, this is our first season playing together, and it's really about the long game, and, that game was on its way out anyway, so it's like, anything short of a championship for Season 5 Cold War is kind of like, you can't really take that into the next season. But, that being said, we did build the vibes. We did get to know each other pretty well. And we had Season 5 of Cold War wasn't bad. We got better over time. I think we started 0-3 and finished 4-3. 4-3. And we got first rounded in the playoffs. But it was a pretty good match at that against the first seed. So we did have a little bit of a rough Season 5. And then Season 1 of Vanguard actually went really, really rough. We went 0-4 the first 4 weeks. And I think I just kind of chalked that up to we didn't really understand the game, quite frankly. I don't know if we still understand the game like pretty well, but like we really did not understand the game in the first weeks of Season 1. And so like the thing I love about this team is that every time like we get our ass beat, we just kind of like regroup and we're like, all right, like this sucks. We don't like losing. And like, obviously it's the CRL. You can't take this too seriously, but like, this is also like our hobby. Like we're really passionate about this. So like, is there anything we could do to set up a scrim? Is there anything we can do to maybe review VOD, go over plays, just casually, nothing too serious. But, we started doing that. I don't think we scrimmed the first 4 weeks of Season 1 of Vanguard, and then we started scrimming, and then we won the next 3. We got first round in playoffs, but we took a 100% map win rate team up till that point to a Game 5, which we were super proud about. We think it marked a big change for us going into this season too. And I think that would hold true because, as you said, we did get a 6-0 and we've only lost 1 map in this season. So I think, we are very happy that progress, that the last 2 seasons of kind of getting to know each other, getting to know our play styles, and, just practicing COD, we're very happy that's paying off for right now. But we are kind of in game time mode. We're kind of in war mode, as we think, just based on what the admins have been telling us, and one of them is on our team as a sub, we think this is going to be our last run in bronze. So we're kind of like, okay, it's now or never. So either we get this ring or like we're sweating in silver. So there is a little bit of a sense of urgency from us, but we're looking hot with our heads held high going into this last week and eventually the playoffs.
Yeah, and I gotta speak about that. You guys are absolutely dominating so far here this season. I think that week 7, you guys continue that run and go to a perfect regular season. To be honest with you guys, just on paper, you guys look dominant. Like you said, you lost 1 map. That's insane. So to be completely honest, I want to ask you for your team as a whole. The starting 4 is you, Bobby, Brendy, TJ, correct? Mm-hmm. Now, is this core 4 going to stay together long term? Because that's not something we see often in the CRL. We do not see teams that really, battle it out the season after season and stick together. So how long are you guys planning to keep it going?
Well, there's no plans for us to break up anytime soon, at least none that I'm aware. And I'm sure there'll be egg on my face right after the season. No, I don't think so. We really like appreciate each other as teammates, and that is to say that every team doesn't have its problems. Like there's definitely things that we could do better. There's definitely things that we talk about amongst ourselves, but I think in general, like I'm really, really happy with this team. I played on a lot of teams beforehand. It felt like I think every season before I played with these guys, I think my pre-made was different in some way. So I have a lot of experience playing with a whole group of people. And this is like no one team where like instantly I became really comfortable with the people there. They're some of the greatest people. They're really, really nice. And I think like what I love about them is like I mentioned, like when we get our ass beat, like there is a sense of like, hey, you know, this is a rec league after all, but it does suck to lose. Like let's try to do better. And with my other teams, it kind of felt like we would do scrims and everything, but it kind of felt like if we went completely winless at the end of the season, everybody would just kind of shrug and be like, oh well. And it's like I don't need to have the sweatiest gamers on my team, but I need a little bit something. But and this team is very passionate, so I'm very happy. Win, lose, or draw, it's been really fun with them.
Yeah, and honestly, I hope that you guys continue the run, man, because honestly, I want to see a perfect season out of you guys, man. And it's right there. It's in reach. It's in reach, man. It's in reach. So good luck for the rest of the season. I want to say that for sure. But moving on to some more, team-based questions. But the question's going to start to get a little bit hot here.
Here we go.
It's gonna get a little hot, man. But we're gonna stick with teammates. And who's the worst teammate you have on your current roster?
Okay, all right. I'm probably gonna catch some flack for this beforehand, but. And again, I love all of these. I wouldn't consider any of them bad or average teammates. They're all great teammates. But there are times where we could all collectively get a little bit heated. And, like, there's, like, the structure kind of falls through and, like, somebody just takes the reins of in-game leader. And, like, I don't know if there's any one worst teammate. I think collectively, like, we are our own worst teammates in that we can get a little bit heated and we can do a little bit of finger pointing between maps and mid maps, and that could be a little bit frustrating. But that's ultimately our responsibility as a team. Although I will say Bobby does get a little bit heated sometimes, but it's all in good nature. It truthfully, it doesn't go past the end of the map. So we all get heated though.
Hey, you gotta love it though. Great answer to that very, very tough question. Okay,
I feel bad throwing him under the bus because it's nothing. Like he never says anything personal. It's literally like you should have pushed that. It's like no, I shouldn't have. But yeah, I mean that happens.
Hey, we all go through it. Me and Killer Ghost, we've gotten to a couple of heated battles in games before. It happens. It happens to the best of duos, man. It happens to the best of teams. So speaking about your team, staying on this topic, you have a bunch of CRL higher ups on that team. You got Shio, you got Bobby, you got Brendy. Which one of those would you replace immediately?
Which one of the people running the league that currently are contracting me or not contracting, but are letting me be a caster for the league would I replace?
Who would you replace on your team?
Well, in all honesty, I guess Shio because he's not a main 4, I guess. And Shio, quite frankly, is right now. He's a very busy person. He has been like really great he's been a lot like our go-to for scrims a lot, and he tries to replicate Bobby's gameplay, which is to say he tries to be on the bottom of the leaderboard each time. But I think he's the most replaceable. Like, no offense, Shio, but I think he's the most replaceable just by nature of not being a starter.
Okay, let's. We don't want you to get dropped after the season. Let's back up on those questions. Okay, give me your bot of the CRL. Who's the most bodiest player that you've shot at, and he's just shot complete circles around you?
Oh man, I'm gonna throw my friend. I'm gonna throw my friend under the bus here, but man, Banana in the other pool who was on Old Guys Texas and Bronze Premade. Man, you gotta shoot back. Come on, man.
Oh,
You can't let this happen. He was he was on my Cold War Premade team, and he was a sub for us. I think last season. No. He was a sub for us in our Cold War team, and I call him my son because I kind of got him his first gig on the Premade team. But oh man,
You're his
Banana, you
godfather.
gotta shoot back, brother. I love you to death, but please, bro.
Banana just shooting blanks at this point. Hey, but you love to see it. In terms of continuing on with the hot questions, this one is tough. This one's going to be a tough one. We spoke about it a little bit, what this question would be before we started the recording. But you're a caster, and sometimes TJ isn't there. But who else would you not want to be there beside you as well?
Oh man. Okay. I'm gonna throw someone under the bus here again, but I don't mean it like that. I truly don't. I will say I would have probably the hardest time casting with Floofy, and I know he's a little bit of a. He's been involved in a little bit of a drama, and I know he knows that. I saw his interview. Really great guy. If you play with him and everything, it's just that there's a little bit of a triangle of disagreement because he would play eights a lot with my brother Xylo, and they would constantly get into fights mid-match just over some really dumb stuff. And it was on. I've heard some of them. It was pretty funny to listen to, but it is one of those things where it's like it would be tough to cast with somebody who just argues with your brother a lot. My brother deserves it, to be completely fair, but that's just the reality of it.
Hey, you love to see it, man. When you're being this honest, you absolutely love to see it. But we're going to hold off on the rest of the Spice questions because, man, you're just a cool dude, man. You're just an absolutely cool dude, man. And we know who you are as a caster. We know who you are as a player. Very dominant 6-0 team, Bronze. He's leading the charge right now. But who is Destin, the person behind the sticks?
Oh yeah, so I am by day I'm a game programmer. I work in the games industry. I'm a 22-year-old. I look a lot older than I am, but I just got out of college last year, straight into a job. I'm 22. I graduated computer science from my school. I work in games, and I'm pretty much just like a fan of all sort of types of media. Like I've been gaming since God knows when. I'm a huge single player gamer. Like I play a lot of single player games. There was a point in my time where like I would buy every single player game that comes out. Obviously, a lot of my time is dedicated to COD now. I've always played COD, but I was never really good at it. I just kind of played casually, just kind of like popped on music, popped on like a YouTube video and played COD. But I do play a fair amount of single player stuff. I listen to a lot of music. I love punk rock. And I'm a big movie buff as well. Specifically, I love the Marvel movies and the shows and everything. I'm a big Marvel fanboy.
Yeah, same here. I love me a little Thor every now and then, brother. Honestly, but man, that's so cool, man. That you make games, you play them and you make them. You gotta love that, man. If we can talk a little bit about that, do you have anything in the works? Maybe anything hush hush you could break an NDA for?
Well, I certainly have an NDA. What I can talk about is currently I'm employed by Hidden Leaf Games, and we're working on a game called Fangs. You could look more into it at www.playfangs.com. It's really cool what we're doing. We're doing a MOBA in the style of kind of like Battle.Right or League of Legends, and we're actually working with the guy one of the original designers of League of Legends. Somebody who really brought like the entire genre to. Wow. Who like helped spawn this massive genre, and he also worked on like the original Dota mod in Warcraft 3, if I recall correctly. So like he's been great. Like you always like growing up playing games, you always dream you'll get to work with somebody who has had such a big impact on the industry. And like I'm 22 and have been able to do that. Like what a blessing. But yeah, we're making a MOBA in the style of Battle.Right, if anyone's familiar. We're currently actually doing play tests. Right now we're doing focus play tests. In the past we've done like kind of like open play tests if you sign up for our mailing list. Right now, we're just kind of limiting that down as we get the game to a more stable state. But right now we're doing those little focus playtests, and eventually in the future we will open up those playtests to a more broader audience. And if you want to play, sign up for the mailing list, and at some point the time will come for you to play what I've been working on, if anybody's interested. Other than that, I've released a game that I made just completely by myself, called Project Crimson. It's a very like dorky little pixel art, like very, very small game. It's on Steam. It's on, I think, iOS. I think Android's having problems. I haven't checked it in a bit, but that's my personal game. And what I do for my job is www.playfangs.com. If anyone's interested.
I'm interested. I'm literally putting it down right now. Fangs. Okay, listen. Can you put me on the top of the list?
Thank you, man. Appreciate the support.
Listen, I love it. I love it. I love it, man. I love what you're doing with the casting, with the playing, man. And you make video games, dude. What don't you do? But hey, man, this next question, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, and I want to be as respectful to you as possible. And if I mispronounce anything, I solely hope that that you're a genuine guy. I care about saying this correctly. But you are a part of the LGBTQ community, and being a part of that is a community, is an amazing community of people and individuals like yourself. How has that maybe like in some ways or another, because I read a tweet, the tweet that you put and kind of hit me home, man. It didn't sit well with me that people are like that to you guys. But yeah, how has that experience been in gaming, man?
Yeah. Well, let me speak first of all on the tweet that you mentioned. So just a little bit of backstory. I think like a month or two ago, I was playing Call of Duty Vanguard, and I was just playing some pubs. This was probably before rank play, honestly, because I don't see why I would be playing pubs before rank play came out. Just kind of like put that on the table, because I know people will be like, "Why the hell are you playing pubs?" Like, it was before rank play, but I was playing pubs. I got on a team with somebody who like seemed like they had a great personality. Like, I recognize the type of people that kind of like will get my sense of humor pretty quickly. It's very sarcastic people, like very like quippy people. And like this seemed to be one of those. And so I got into a match with him. We were kind of joking back and forth, and we left the match. That was that. And then I got into a match, and the next match I got into was with him on my team again. And like we had another great time, and I was like, all right, cool. At some point, let's just like we're having fun. Let's party up and, just have a fun night of COD. And, that's what I did. We partied up and we did have a fun night of COD. At some point I said I was bisexual, which I am. And like the tone completely changed. Like this particular person, like seemed very cool, but he was like, for whatever reason, the idea of having a friend that was LGBT was just like a little bit too much for him. And like, what's even weirder is like, he had like a best friend. He's like, yo, I think my best friend's gay. Like, is this gay behavior? I'm like, how the hell do I know? Why don't you ask him? He's like, but bro, I don't know if I want him to be my best friend if he's gay. I'm like, that makes no sense. But yeah, so like it was like a very weird experience. Like, and it was only that weird because thankfully the vast majority of my experiences, absolutely in the CRL, but in the broader gaming space, have been absolutely positive. Like, in life, pretty much, it's been absolutely positive in terms of, this part of myself. And so, I mean, I sent out that tweet, like, not even, like, really sad about it. I was just like, wow, I can't believe these people exist because I haven't run into them until now. So I'm very fortunate. I shouldn't really speak on, everybody's experiences. I am particularly fortunate in that regard. But, whenever you get into it with somebody like that, for me personally, as long as nobody's harming me, like physically or trying to actively take away my rights. People talk. They could say whatever they want. It doesn't really bother me. At the end of the day, it is what it is. It's, at the end of the day, that particular person missed out on a great friendship. That's their loss.
100%, man. But I'm not going to miss out because now we're friends to the end. Dude,
absolutely.
Woody to my buzz. 100%, Destin and Sensei. Listen, you're awesome, dude. You're an awesome person. I think every experience I've had with you thus far, though small, have impacted me in amazing ways. And honestly, I think that, as you said, he missed out on that guy missed out on someone that, is genuine and super fucking cool at the end of the day. So listen,
Thank you, man.
You keep on doing you, keep on, setting the CRL bronze division on fire for as long as you can before they push you on up, man. Keep on being the best person you can absolutely be. And listen, at the end of the day, some people just don't deserve us, some people just don't. But hey, moving back into the interview, because boy, that was so awesome that you did share that with us. We're gonna have to go back to that team. Is that team you have, that very amazing bronze division team, and this a kind of hot, spicy question that I want to do, and this is a new question here, so you haven't seen them. You haven't heard me say this. Is give me one team in the bronze division that shouldn't be there right now.
As in, should be moved up or completely kicked out of the league?
They could be moved up, or dude, bronze isn't even the lowest point for you.
I will say, I don't know them by name, and I don't think I've really had a ton of interactions with them. But the other pool in particular looks absolutely stacked. I mean, we've scrimmed a few of those guys. I don't think, we have problems in our scrims in general. I don't think we've won a scrim all season, despite our pretty dominant behavior on match day. I mean, we scrimmed teams that we played on match day and lost scrims, but then slayed out on match day. I don't really understand it, to be honest with you. But we have scrimmed some of the teams from the other pool, and whoever is top dog of that pool, they must be absolutely frying, because even the lower tier teams of that pool are amazing teams for bronze. And so, I mean, I gotta say, I haven't really faced them yet. I imagine, fingers crossed, all things go well, and then we make a good run in the playoffs. I imagine at some point we will have to face them, but judging by the lower tier teams of that pool, whoever is slaying them out must be amazing and probably not bronze. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta expect it. Yeah, at some point, man. Because back in my bronze days, dude, every team in bronze was not supposed to be in bronze. 100%, dude. Listen, it's so crazy that I could name 8 teams in bronze when I was there, that they're all in plat and gold now. And it's because we've never belonged there in the first place, man. So hey, that's cool to see. The next question, this question, not really a spice question, just a general question I ask on the show. The question being is, if you were the owner of the CRL for a day, what are some changes you would possibly make or add to the CRL?
It's hard for me to talk about that because I am so happy with how the administration of CRL has run this place. I don't really I could probably count the missteps that they've had on one hand that I consider to be serious missteps. This place is amazingly well run, especially for a league that you have to submit some money for pre-made, but it's by all means, it's not making a ton of money, and pretty much all of the money is getting reinvested right back on into making the league better for everybody. So I really don't have a ton of complaints about how the league has been run so far. I mean, they've done an amazing job. One thing I would change, though, and this is kind of hard because I think they recognize that this is a problem. But ever since the Diamond teams have come in, and we've said, okay, we're going to stream every Diamond match because these are the best the league has to offer. And I don't disagree that every Diamond match should be streamed. I think those Diamond matches are incredibly great. If you haven't seen them, they're just edge-of-your-seat action, best players in the CRL. Very fun to watch. The problem is, though, that technically takes away, I think, 3 slots per week from, just the average amount, the teams not in Diamond. Right. And I think part of what makes the CRL so fun is that we all silently play our games every week, and then we all talk to each other, yada yada. But every now and then, maybe once a season, if you're lucky, there might be a season you don't get picked at all. But every now and then you get the chance to be featured on the main stage, on the league, and get to show your abilities to everybody. We average sometimes around 100 viewers, 50 viewers, and that's a big thing for people. I think that's one of the major
100%.
draws of the league. And so what I'd really love to see is I'd really love to see our casting team and our production team expanded so that we can keep up with the other divisions while still hosting every Diamond stream. To be fair, I think the league has recognized this, and as they'll tell you, getting casters that they want to put on and teaching people how to produce a game or a stream is very difficult to do, and it's not something that can happen overnight. But if I were the owner, that would definitely be a priority for me.
Definitely. I love that answer. Absolutely love that answer. I didn't even realize it until you just said it. Like, that is 3 whole slots that they take away. But hey, you know what? Listen, this is why we're here. Maybe they watch this and say, you know what? He's right. Let's do it. So, hey, nonetheless, thank you for that answer. We're almost just about done, right? And before we say our goodbyes, for tonight, there's gonna be a lot of these viewers, a lot of these listeners. They're gonna say, "Man, this guy is absolutely fucking amazing. Where can I follow him on social media?"
Well, I think across all social media, I'm pretty much Destin 715 across everything. So I would be surprised if I wasn't on any particular social media. My Twitter's pretty active. I'm not very active on anything else.
Hey, but nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, the links to Destin will be in the description box below. And honestly, do you have any closing statements? Anything you want to promote in this last maybe 2 minutes that we have? Anything that you got going on? Maybe there's a stream idea that you have. Just about anything. This is an open space right here and now, just for you.
I don't have anything I want to say other than, again, I think I said this before. I certainly said it to you privately, but thank you so much for having me on. And I'm a huge fan of what you guys are doing between this podcast and your version of the flank that you're going to be starting up soon. And now I see that you guys are also attempting to help fill out some slots with streaming and casting on your own. I appreciate everything you guys do. I think you've had some fantastic ideas, and I can't wait to keep watching.
Hey, man, we appreciate you, man. That feedback alone right there, man, this is why we do things that we do. Man, Destin, but I think that's all for us today. Ladies and gentlemen, again, give it up down in the comments below for Destin. He was an amazing guest all the way through to the very, very end. Can't wait to have you back on. As I do say to everyone, man, if you win that championship, we need you here on the show yet again, just to celebrate and talk everything about the season that maybe you didn't speak about so far in this interview. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it all for us today. But I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, have a good day, have a good night, get going, because I know you got this. And ladies and gentlemen, goodbye.